Welcome back to Undisputed. Guys, I do have some somber news to report this morning. The NFL's all-time winningest head coach, Don Shula, passed away this morning at the age of 90. And Shula was the head coach in Miami during that 1972 season, the only team to ever go undefeated. And Skip, I know you spent a little time with Coach Shula. What is your reaction to the news?
Yeah, Jenny, straight out of Vanderbilt, 1974, I went to the Miami Herald, so I was around the 74 and 75 Dolphins. And Don Shula was tough. He could be a little hard to get along with for the media, but I watched how the team reacted to him, and Don Shula came off to me as having a big heart, and he was truly beloved by those players in ways that a lot of great coaches are not beloved by their players. Witness some of the coaches today.
Skip, he was my first Pro Bowl. Coach Shula was my coach at the Pro Bowl, and as you mentioned, he was tough. We practiced. We got in practices that I didn't think that the Pro Bowl, from what I had heard, the Pro Bowl was like. But that was really my only dealings with him. But every time that I would see him at a function, be it at the Super Bowl, the Hall of Fame, he was always, "Hey, Shannon, how you doing? You're doing a great job." So my thoughts and prayers go out to his family, friends, and the Miami Dolphins organization.
Don Shula did so much for the game, and you said it best, both of you guys. We're thinking about their family, and we appreciate those words from both of you guys. I do want to go back to the Cowboys right now and talk a little bit more about CeeDee Lamb, because now Michael Irvin is giving his blessing to CeeDee Lamb, who will wear Irvin's number 88 this season. Irvin said that to wear that number, you have to be what he calls a, quote, true bred, which means born, bled, and bred right here in the Dallas Cowboys. So, Shannon, do you agree with what Irvin is saying here?
No, because it appears to be he's wearing this number because Jerry Jones' best friend wore 88 in college. Michael Irvin selected that number, Skip. The former owner, I think his name is Blum Bright, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Bright was the owner of the Dallas Cowboys when Michael Irvin was selected. He didn't say, "Michael, I want you to wear this number because Drew Pearson wore it and all the great receivers. He was a great receiver, and I want you to wear it." That's not what Jerry said. Jerry didn't say, "Well, Dez, I want you to wear 88 because all the greats wear it." And it reminds me of my former teammate, Lamb, that I played with at Arkansas. That's not how it happened, Skip. If CeeDee Lamb says, "I want to wear that number because 88 seems to represent all the great receivers that's played for the Cowboys," Skip, I got no problem with that. But he said he wanted to wear the number 10, and it was Jerry, whether it was explicit or implicitly implied, that he wanted him to wear that number in honor of Jerry's former teammate, Jerry's friend. He didn't choose that number of his own volition. So no. Got no problem, and I don't think it's Skip, is going to be more pressure. CeeDee Lamb has enough pressure. He was the 17th pick in the first round. There's expectations. There's pressure that comes along with being selected. If he's what they believe he is, the numbers should not change anything. Skip, Tom Brady could be Tom Brady whether he wore number 12, 19, 17, or 6. Numbers don't make players. All I'm saying is CeeDee Lamb should have been afforded the right, like every other player that comes into the NFL, to be able to select a number of their choosing. And I don't believe he had that. I believe Jerry put undue pressure on this young man to take that number in order to honor Jerry's former teammate.
And obviously, CeeDee Lamb had already tweeted that he had chosen to wear number 10 in honor of sort of his idol as he came up through high school, DeAndre Hopkins, then in Houston. CeeDee went to a high school in the Houston area. Now, obviously, DeAndre is with the Arizona Cardinals. But the point is here, one sort of cool thing about the Dallas Cowboys, Shannon, is they don't retire numbers. Okay, that's cool, but the downside of that is sometimes numbers take on their own lives and they become legacy numbers. They're not yet retired. 88 is the legacy number in Cowboy Nation. It's the most hallowed, the most revered, because Drew Pearson should be in the Hall of Fame. He made many of the greatest catches in Cowboy history, including the original Hail Mary. And then we know what Michael Irvin did. I've made a case he's the greatest receiver ever. He's in the Hall of Fame along with you. And Des Bryant had a Hall of Fame stretch for 4 years up through 2014 when I thought he was the best receiver in football. So here we go, 88, 88, 88, and here we go again. And now Michael Irvin is blessing CeeDee publicly, saying he is a true bred and that I love this kid. Well, Shannon, it would be like you taking one of the tight ends in this past draft, and it wasn't a great tight end draft, but that Adam Troutman that New Orleans traded up to get, I think he's going to be pretty good. Everything I read about him, he could be the steal of the draft at the tight end position. What if Shannon Sharpe had tweeted, I bless that kid. He's going to wind up in the Hall of Fame. Well, that wouldn't be fair because maybe he will, maybe he won't, but you don't want to put that on him right now. And I feel like that CeeDee is already shooed into the Hall of Fame because Michael is blessing him, saying he's a true bred. He hasn't played a snap yet in this league. Completely unfair. You can't do that. I quoted obviously the Talladega Nights line the other day from Michael Clark Duncan. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Well, don't you put that evil on CeeDee before he's even played a snap in the league. It's not fair, and he didn't ask for it, and now he's got to literally wear the expectation of living up to the Cowboy draft board, which had him, as we all know now, he was 6th on their draft board, and he fell to them at 17.
Right. And Skip, it would be the equivalent. Let's just say for the sake of argument, Kansas City. Okay, we know Tony, he wore 87. And now all of a sudden Kelsey comes in and Mr. Lamar Hunt says, you know what? You remind me a lot of Tony Gonzalez. I want you to take 88 and wear that number because that's a special. What? No, I want my own number. He got one number below 88. Skip, the guy should be allowed to have his own number. I get it, Jerry. Jerry Lamb meant a lot to you. He played with you. He was your teammate. He was a confidant of yours. But the meaning that he has to you is not the same meaning it has to CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb should have been afforded the opportunity to get number 10 because that's the number he wanted to wear to show his appreciation for DeAndre Hopkins. Not you, Jerry. Everything, and therein lies the problem. Jerry wanted it to be about him. See, Skip, that is about Jerry. Now, here I am. I done worked my tail off. Did what I was supposed to do in high school, kept good grades, got to college, played well enough, and now, Skip, yes, sir. I'm going to get this thing. I'm going to be number 10, just like DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to go out there and ball to DeAndre Hopkins. And the owner says, nah, an ex-teammate of mine, who's a good friend of mine in college, he wore number 88, had the same last name as you, who's a confidant. I want you to wear 88. Huh? No, Skip, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jerry.
I thought the most wisdom was actually tweeted by one Des Bryant, who simply said to CeeDee, be you, capital, all Y-O-U capitalized. Be you. Yeah, don't be us. Don't be the past. Just be you. Blaze your own trail.
Right.
I agree. Well,
but that's Jerry, though, Skip.
So in the end...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. So in the end...
No, I was just going to say...
This was Jerry's own... it was Jerry's only misstep of the whole offseason because he's won the offseason with Mike McCarthy and the free agent signings and Amari, and he won the draft, and he's done everything right. Andy Dalton was a home run, and yet he has one little misstep with CeeDee that I still think CeeDee can overcome.
Skip, sometimes things doesn't need to be explicitly said to be implicitly implied. And that's what we have here. But see, he didn't imply it. Skip, he said it. Jerry said I wanted to wear number 88 because my good friend Jerry Lamb was 88, who I played college with, and he was a great friend of mine to today. So this wasn't implicit. This was explicit. It was verbalized. He said it.
He did.
CeeDee's going to be just fine, whatever number he was to wear. I am not worried, Skip. I am so excited to see him in a Cowboys jersey. Guys, did Michael Jordan just admit that his first shoes were